Gachagua, however, fired back, daring the president to prepare for more revelations, accusing him of failing Kenyans. Apollo Kamau now reports.
President William Ruto's fallout with his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua hit fever pitch on Thursday after the tough-talking head of state, speaking in Busia and Bungoma counties, said enough is enough of his former deputy's incessant attacks.
Munataka mtu atuuzie ukabila ati wananchi wapiganishwe? Huyo mtu ni kumbafu sana. Na nitamunyorosha. Kwanza amenijaribu, atajua hajui. Atajua hajui. Biga hoye. Shughulikia hawa wakora wa pepo ya ukabila, pepo ya uchafu, pepo ya chuki na wale watu ya matusi. Hawashughulikie, asiwashughulikie.
Gachagua, who spoke at DCP party headquarters, where he received former nominated Senator Millicent Omanga after defecting from UDA, fought back, telling the president to prepare for more sleepless nights and fresh revelations on his administration's performance.
Nimeona huyu Kasongo amekasirika sana. Analia kama panya imeshikwa na mtego. Na nilikuwa nimemwambia nitasukuma yeye. Si nilimwambia? Nikamwambia Kasongo, wewe umekasirisha watu ya Kenya na hawalali. Hata wewe tutakasirisha wewe vile umekasirisha wa Kenya. Si ati kwa sababu ya masikio, hapana. Masikio tunataka ikuwe kubwa asikize ground.
Alisema kwamba ati sisi tuende gym. Kwamba sisi hatufanyi mazoezi. Mimi ningependa kuuliza Kasongo, hii gym anaendanga inanyoanga paka nywele? Mimi nataka niwaulize, kwani mtu amebeba tumbo hivi na kichwa imefimba kwa sababu ya kukula, mnafikiri anaweza kupanga safari ya Singapore? Atapanga hata safari ya kufika hapa Eldoret? Mulimu huyo.
President Ruto dismissed Gachagua's leadership quest, terming him incapable to lead following his impeachment, while Gachagua accused the president of diverting attention from the real challenges facing Kenyans.
My friend, don't try me. Tunaelewana? Huyo mtu alifukuzwa bunge. Si alifukuzwa bunge? Unanimous, alifukuzwa bunge. Na alifukuzwa bunge kwa sababu ya ukabila. Alifukuzwa bunge kwa sababu ya wizi. Alifukuzwa bunge kwa sababu ya mauaji. You have no business lecturing us in the Republic of Kenya.
Ati atupeleke kwa matope ya matusi. Sisi hatuwezi kuja hapo Kasongo. Wewe kwanza umeingia pahali mimi nilikuwa nataka wewe. Si ndio? Si ameteremuka? Wewe ulikuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, umeteremuka. Umekuwa mtu ya gossip.
Apollo Kamau, TV47.
All right, moving on. A fresh power struggle is brewing within ODM after Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga declared that there will be only one legitimate National Delegates Conference, dismissing plans by a rival faction to hold a parallel meeting. Now, speaking at Chungwa House in Nairobi, Wanga said the official conference will be led by party leader Oburu Oginga and held at Jamhuri grounds, where party officials are set to be elected. Now, she warned that while members are free to hold meetings, no other gathering should be branded as an ODM-NDC. The developments come amid a deepening split, with a faction led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna insisting on holding what they term a People's National Delegates Convention. Allies, including James Orengo and Godfrey Osotsi, have also questioned the legality of the main conference, warning it could face a court challenge.
So there will be only one. ODM as an institution, 21 years old this year, and ways to call an NDC are stipulated in the constitution of the party. So people are free to hold political rallies, they are free to hold barazas, they are free to hold parties, but the NDC of the ODM party will only be one at Jamhuri grounds on 27th, Friday next week, and we welcome our members.
When 3-4 members dissent, you cannot say that the party is in problem, the party is in chaos. Only 3 people. Only 4 people. And we are a party of 109 members of parliament. And only 4 people, when you cover their press conference, you say, oh, the party is in disarray.
We have 1 week left to the event and wish to inform our members and the general public that preparations are in top gear. Delegates have been duly informed of the meeting and its agenda.
All right, and moving on, former Cabinet Secretary Raphael Tuju has protested the continued police occupation of Dari Business Park in Karen, Nairobi, terming it irregular and disruptive. Now, in a letter to Inspector General Douglas Kanja, Tuju claims over 100 police officers raided the premises in a pre-dawn operation without a court order and have remained there for days without explanation. He says the situation has paralyzed operations at the business park, which hosts at least 24 tenants, including Tamarind Restaurant Karen, with professionals locked out of their offices. Tuju also raised concerns over accountability, alleging that some officers conceal their identities. He has urged the police boss to intervene and restore normalcy. Now, the High Court has declared that a registered mobile phone number forms part of a person's digital identity and must be protected under the Constitution. Now, in a ruling by Justice Lawrence Mugambi, the court found that routine deactivation and reassignment of numbers after 90 days of inactivity poses a threat to privacy rights. The case was filed by prisoners who argued that they lost access to family, business and essential services after their numbers were reassigned. Munene John now reports.
The High Court ruling marks a major shift in how mobile phone numbers are viewed in Kenya, recognizing them as a critical part of an individual's digital identity. Justice Lawrence Mugambi has ruled that mobile phone numbers today go beyond communication, serving as key personal identifiers linked to financial transactions, online accounts, and sensitive personal data. The court found that automatically deactivating and reassigning numbers after 90 days without considering the reason for inactivity could expose individuals to serious privacy risks. This includes access to one-time passwords, verification codes, and even confidential family or financial information. The petition was brought forth by prisoners, among them Erastus Ngura Othiambo, serving a 20-year sentence, who told the court that losing his phone number cut off communication with his children and led to the collapse of his business. In its ruling, the court emphasized that prisoners retain their fundamental rights under Article 51 of the Constitution, except those limited by law, and that imprisonment should not erase a person's digital identity. However, the judge upheld restrictions on inmate access to mobile phones, noting that unrestricted communication could pose security risks, including intimidation or threats to victims and the public. The court has now directed the Attorney General to develop new regulations within 6 months to ensure phone numbers are only reassigned with the original owner's consent, proper notice and safeguards to protect personal data. Munene John, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, President William Ruto has launched the Naivasha-Kisumu-Malaba standard gauge railway project aimed at boosting connectivity and economic opportunities across the region. Now, the government plans to extend the SGR from Naivasha to Malaba in 2 phases, Naivasha to Kisumu and Kisumu to Malaba. The first phase will start from Emurtoto in Narok County and cover approximately 264 kilometers. Sheila Chelegat now reports.
The project comprises of 2 sections, the Naivasha-Kisumu section and the Kisumu-Malaba section.
The capacity of the line is 200.
The Naivasha-Kisumu section starts from Emurtoto in Narok County to Kisumu, with an approximate length of 264 kilometers and a branch line of 8.69 kilometers to the proposed new Kisumu port. The railway line will traverse through Narok, Bomet, Nyamira, Kericho and Kisumu counties.
I thank you, Your Excellency, because today we are here to witness The railway to nowhere now getting somewhere.
The Kisumu-Malaba section starts from Kisumu and extends to Malaba with an approximate length of 107 kilometers. The railway line will traverse through Kisumu, Siaya, Vihiga, Kakamega and Busia counties.
Wakati ulikuja hapa development tour last year, ulianzisha barabara ya Nguswani kupita Naikara na kwenda mpaka Murijo Loita. Your Excellency, I want to confirm to you. Saa hizi imemalizwa kilomita 15 na inaendelea day and night.
I am very proud today that in the last 3 years, we have consolidated and stabilized our economy.
For many residents, this railway not only means faster and efficient transportation, but also linkage to neighboring countries.
Hii reli ambao umeleta sasa, it is no longer the lunatic express, but it's an economic express.
The routing and construction of the standard gauge railway through Narok places Narok in a major economic corridor that will integrate with major development of industrial parks.
The project is being implemented by the Kenya Railways in collaboration with the National Lands Commission in the acquisition of land and compensation for project-affected persons.
Today, we are proud of the progress and success that the SGR has begun.
From here, President William Ruto is expected to launch the Phase 2C of the SGR extension in Kisumu County on Saturday. It has been praised for not just unlocking potential in the country, but also across our borders. Sheila Chelangat for TV47 in Narok County.
Now, investigations are underway after 2 people lost their lives in separate building collapses in Nairobi and Kericho. Incidents linked to heavy rains pounding parts of the country. One person was confirmed dead in Westlands, Nairobi, after a structure caved in, while another died in a similar incident in Kericho. This report was produced by Mwaluse Meshak.
Incidents of building collapses are on the rise across the country as heavy rains continue to pound various regions. In Westlands, Nairobi, a 22-story building under construction collapsed, leaving one person dead and several others injured. The incident has raised concerns over construction safety and compliance with building regulations. In a separate incident in Kericho County, one person died while 4 others were injured after another building collapsed. Officials from the Directorate of Criminal Investigations have launched probes to establish the cause of this incident, with blame shifting towards negligence by some developers and violations of construction standards.
They have told the professional bodies to tell their members, if anybody is removed from a site, they must inform the county and they must inform that professional body, so that we can know that a building is going on without the proper professional support.
At the same time, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja has ordered the demolition of buildings constructed along riverbanks in a bid to mitigate flooding. The county government has also begun clearing drainage systems, removing waste and restoring natural water channels to prevent further disasters.
These are some of the difficult decisions that we've said we have to do, all the way up until Brookside Drive, all the way down through to Oswald. We are going to reclaim the path of the river, because the river will always follow its path. It will always find where it's supposed to be.
The exercise is expected to be carried out across the city, with residents living near riparian areas urged to vacate to pave the way for the initiative. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Interior has issued a warning of a heavy rainfall expected in several parts of the country starting tomorrow. According to a statement released through the media, the Meteorological Department says the rains are expected to intensify from Friday through Monday before gradually subsiding. Residents have been urged to exercise caution, avoid fast-flowing water and stay away from high-risk areas. However, the government has assured the public that emergency measures have been put in place to assist affected individuals as rescue operations continue in flood-hit regions across the country. Efforts to assess the safety of buildings are also ongoing nationwide.
All right, now moving on, where Mount Kenya University has provided free dental services to residents of Kapenguria in West Pokot County as part of activities to mark World Oral Health Day. Through its dental service department, students and partners conducted checkups, offered oral hygiene education, and issued referrals at Makutano School. The outreach benefited over 2,000 residents and targeted prevention of oral diseases in underserved communities. Health officials have praised the initiative for improving access to essential services.
We are happy to join our alumni in this event. It demonstrates that the department is ready to train and have students even that are able to offer solutions in the communities. We are proud to be associated with the Oral Health Mashinani, especially on oral health prevention strategies.
And we are here today to talk to the students so that we can make them understand why it is important to go the preventive dentistry way. So today it is amazing because Christine did not come alone. She came along. As a university, we totally believe that we are there to unlock infinite possibilities. And for sure, this is one of the ways in which we unlock infinite possibilities by ensuring that we are able to impact communities through one way or the other.
Now, a new report by UNICEF and the World Health Organization has raised alarm over rising child deaths globally, reversing years of progress in child survival. According to United Nations data, about 4.9 million children under 5 died in 2024, with experts warning of a worsening crisis.
The United Nations data shows that about 4.9 million children died in 2024. Of these, more than 100,000 deaths were directly linked to severe malnutrition, while many more were associated with poor nutrition. The report indicates that sub-Saharan Africa is the hardest hit region, where children face the highest risk of dying before their 5th birthday. Experts warn that progress in reducing child mortality has slowed since 2015 due to global conflicts, climate change, and declining health funding. Malnutrition remains a leading factor contributing to nearly 45% of child deaths worldwide. Health organizations are now calling for urgent investment in proper nutrition, vaccination, and primary health care services. Linda Alela, TV47.
Now, hundreds of residents in Homa Bay County are set to benefit from a drive to trace and recover unclaimed financial assets following engagements between UFA and local leaders. Now, UFA CEO Laban Molonko met local chiefs to boost awareness as outreach teams continue to register claimants and guide them through the recovery process across the county.
I have learned that about unclaimed assets. I have been enlightened that perhaps we may have dependents, our loved ones who might have passed on, leaving some funds which we have assumed got lost. And fortunately, there is a way they can be recovered. So, like instance, my father passed on in the 90s, and I have realized there's a way we can claim the whatever benefits that we might have assumed got lost also or disappeared in the thin air, and there's a process that can be used to claim such funds or so.
All right, now in business tonight, Cooperative Bank of Kenya has reported a record profit before tax of 40.3 billion Kenya shillings for the year ended December 2025, marking a 15.8% increase from 34.8 billion Kenya shillings in 2024. Now, profit after tax rose 16.9% to 29.75 billion Kenya shillings, signaling strong earnings momentum. The bank has proposed a total dividend of 2.5 Kenya shillings per share.
Cooperative Bank of Kenya delivered strong earnings growth with profit before tax rising to 40.3 billion shillings and profit after tax reaching 29.75 billion shillings, reflecting sustained profitability. The balance sheet expanded significantly as total assets grew to 827.4 billion shillings and customer deposits climbed to 576.5 billion shillings, signaling strong liquidity and customer trust. Income performance remained robust with net interest income increasing to 62.85 billion shillings, while lending activity pushed loans and advances to 421.0 billion shillings. Shareholder returns also strengthened with dividend payout rising sharply to 14.67 billion shillings, capping a year of solid financial and operational gains. Hibak Said for TV47.
Now, the Institution of Engineers of Kenya has convened a conference focused on climate-resilient agriculture to support economic transformation. The Ministry of Agriculture emphasized the need for innovation to address climate change, water scarcity and post-harvest losses. Stakeholders are now urged to deliver practical and scalable engineering solutions to boost productivity and food security.
I believe agriculture, with its contribution to Kenya's GDP, averaging between 22 to 30% directly and 27% indirectly, is a very vital industry for our economy. And we don't think it is given the relevant highlight that it needs. We have engineers involved in the sector, agricultural engineers, environmental and biosystems engineers, and they are involved in solving some of the complex problems that will lead to breakthrough innovations to help our country develop the agricultural sector to make sure that we are a food secure country. We strongly believe that the development of this country that has been spelled out under Vision 2030 and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, agriculture is central to this.
Now, Kenyans are increasingly taking control of their finances, with 59% now saving through banks and chamas, up from 56% last year, according to Tala's 2026 Money March report. However, rising living costs continue to strain households, with 1 in 5 reporting expenses have jumped by over 20% in 6 months. Despite this, business ownership is on the rise, while digital loans remain the fastest source of emergency funds.
I notice we've had a consistent decrease in people saying that full-time employment is their main source of income. And this is a trend we've seen since 2023, now moving to 2026. And if you look at and Teddy will be showing this later, but you can see a very clear downward trend. So right now, currently I would say we're averaging about 28%, which I think it's actually, yeah. So it's actually high, as low as 45% currently. And I would say, like, these are the things that start to impact now the flip side, and we've talked about how our customers are adapting. It starts to affect the flip side of the 3 ways we're seeing customers adapting. So the first one, we've talked about it, I think it's been a common theme over the last several money marches, is by cutting down on expenses. So where customers are thinking, hey, do I really need to be spending on in buying clothes? I'll reduce that.
Quite insightful right there. All right, moving on, Harambee Sacco has urged Parliament to fast-track the Sacco Society's Amendment Bill 2025, saying that it will strengthen regulation and protect members' savings. Speaking in Mombasa ahead of the March 30 Delegates Conference, Chairperson MacLeod Malonza and CEO Dr. George Oshiri said the law will enhance digital compliance and shield members from risks. They added that the Sacco is also seeking to curb high lending rates and introduce modern products targeting younger clients.
Of all, one of the key issues of the bill, first of all, it will allow the cooperatives to get to payment system. That will make it very easy for them to do other alternative business that they could not do apart from savings and credit. They will be able to do other businesses here. They will also have to bring other collateral-based loans, which will increase their income. Number 2, it has a provision for youth. for youth in terms of empowerment and also giving them a position in the cooperatives. Number three, it gives flexibility in terms of incorporating the leadership positions in the cooperative movement, which takes care of the youth. And number three, the cooperative bill has more of a growth-oriented in terms of increasing governance to the circles to ensure that accountability and also reinforcing and also strengthening governance structure in SASRA to ensure they are real-time in terms of their regulations.
All right, and with that, it's time for us to take a short break. But when we return, we'll be getting into matters sports. We also have Green Fix later on. I remember the last time we hosted Guinness World Record holder Trufena Modoni, as of course she was telling us about her plans of what she intends to do with tree hugging and create awareness on matters sustainability and of course the environment. But this time around, we have another young man. His name is Hilary Kibiwot, and he will be attempting to plant the most number of trees in 24 hours. That's going to be a very interesting conversation. We're going to be asking him exactly how many trees he'll be attempting to plant in those 24 hours in just a bit. So make sure you stay right here for more, only on TV47. Also, coming up after the break. Ugandan artist and environmental advocate Regan Kandole is creatively repurposing plastic waste and scrap metal into public art, raising awareness about environmental conservation and responsible waste management. right, and on sports tonight, of course, right here on TV47, we tell you about what's happening in the very interesting world of sports. So let's get right to it, where Tennis Kenya has unveiled a landmark strategic partnership with the French Tennis Federation, facilitated through the French ambassador to Kenya, His Excellency Arora. Now, the move is set to unlock international opportunities for Kenyan players, coaches, officials, and clubs, while deepening sporting ties between Kenya and France. The collaboration introduces a comprehensive development program spanning player pathways, infrastructure, officiating, and coach education, with key activities lined up throughout 2026. Top junior players will gain exposure through training and competition stints in France, including participation in the prestigious Istres Open, while Kenya will later host French juniors in reciprocal exchange events. The first delegations are set to travel to France in March and April 2026, marking the beginning of a partnership as Tennis Kenya aims to strengthen the country's tennis ecosystem and global position.
I think we're opening a new chapter in our sports diplomacy, in our sport partnership between France and Kenya. You may know that Miramas, who is a city in the south of France, had been welcoming the Olympic team of Kenya during the Paris Olympics. And through this legacy, I think we're opening a new chapter, and now it's tennis.
This initiative covers so many pillars of Tennis Kenya. And so today we are delighted that we are going to see off our top 16 and under players who will go to Club East in the south of France to be able to take part in a J200 ITF event. They'll be able to train in the academy. Our coach will be able to join other coaches, and it's all really very exciting.
For me, what I feel is like when we go there, we have to do our best, try our best and enjoy. And of course, we'll have to win matches there.
The people out there who'd want this opportunity, and some of them don't get it. So we'll have to utilize this to the max.
You see, mostly in construction of facilities, if you have ever done it, you have that knowledge. And in Kenya, mostly what we lack is prior knowledge to how to build clay courts.
Now, Kenya's national men's and women's rugby sevens teams are gearing up to showcase their talent on the continental stage as they fly the Kenyan flag high in the second leg of the HSBC Rugby Sevens calendar in Uruguay. Now, Shujaa are coming off an impressive performance, finishing third in the Nairobi series, and will need to deliver their best if they are to return to the top flight in Sao Paulo next week. Meanwhile, the Lionesses are on the hunt for redemption following a disappointing performance at home, hoping to bounce back in Uruguay ahead of a crucial final leg in Brazil next week.
Having the HSBC Sevens tournament come in Nairobi really meant quite a lot to us, having to play in front of our fans who have been watching us play in the screens. And they turned up in huge numbers, thanks to them. Their support really meant quite a lot to us. We really relied on their energy in the games. And heading to Montevideo and Sao Paulo, we're going to make them proud. We're doing this for them and hope the whole country will be watching and supporting.
Now, Luka Doncic and LeBron James combined for 70 points at the Los Angeles Lakers overpowered the Houston Rockets 124-116. Now, the win marks the Lakers' 7th consecutive victory, moving them up to 3rd in the Western Conference standings. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Hawks secured a 135-120 win over the Dallas Mavericks, and the Memphis Grizzlies defeated the Denver Nuggets 125-118.
Kobe guarding Reeves. Shot clock at 7. Reeves cross Hachimura. Down. And what a pass.
All right, and with that, it's time for us to take a short commercial break. But remember, as we get back to the show, we'll be talking about Green Fix. And of course, we'll be having a discussion on what Hilary Kibiwott is planning on doing. Remember, he has some very high hopes. He has big dreams. He's got his eyes set on the prize. So in case you want to know what the prize is, come back. We'll be telling you much more as he'll be here with me in studio, and we'll be having that conversation in just a moment. Don't go too far. Also, coming up after the break. Ugandan artist and environmental advocate Regan Kandole is creatively repurposing plastic waste and scrap metal into public art, raising awareness about environmental conservation and responsible waste management.
And unwavering ambition.
In business, we do a 5-year strategy, and in that, scaling is there. Sometimes we scale for the sake of scaling. Okay?
This is Founders Battlefield, where today's founders bear their scars to illuminate the path for tomorrow's founders.
When we discuss the question of low trust, there's something around the definition of identity.
We can be a net exporter, but we need to start treating our farmers as entrepreneurs and creating an ecosystem around them that they can make money and that they have the right inputs.
Catch it every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on TV47.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. My name is Apostle Joseph Kavai from City of Life Sanctuary, Udiru, and I'll be ministering at the morning decree every morning this week from 5 a.m. And I want to invite you to a time to enjoy the presence of the Lord and experience the goodness of the Lord as we start the day. The Bible says, in the beginning, God. So it is a good time for you to just begin with the week with God, your day with God, and God is going to bless you.
TV47. Muko tayari? Contestants ni watatu.
Naitwa Esther.
Naitwa Gregor. Naitwa Geoffrey. Sanduku ni 12 na zawadi ni za kusisimua. Unaletewa tension. You are not serious. 20,000.
My name is Nofal Poker. I'm the CEO and co-founder of EcoCan, and you're watching Green Fix on TV47.
All right, it's time that we get into the segment that I absolutely love, and I'm sure if you are an environmentalist or if you are somebody who really is keen on what's happening to Mother Earth and you are all about being green, going green, well, this is the right place for you. It's time for Green Fix. And of course, with me in studio, I have Hilary Kibiwott. So we're going to be having a conversation with him. Now, Hilary is the founder for Green Earth Ambassadors Foundation. And the reason that Hilary is in the studio today and we'll be having a conversation with him is because he will be attempting to plant 24,000 trees in 24 hours. Now, the last person who actually managed to do this and is the current record holder is a Canadian, and that was in 2017. How many trees did he plant?
He planted 23,060.
Okay.
24 hours.
So you're going to attempt 24,000?
Yes.
How possible?
Over 24,000.
How possible is that?
First of all, Shiksha,
yes.
I want to tell you, if you have that passion, it's possible.
Okay.
And with commitment for climate change, it is possible.
Amazing.
And if you love your country, we are trying to share that message to the global world that anything to deal with combating climate change, it starts from you first.
Absolutely. Well said. Very well said. Welcome to the show, Hilary. We're glad to have you, and congratulations on just having that passion for the planet, having that passion for the environment and for the country as well. So tell us a bit about your journey, where it all began, because you're somebody who's had this passion for quite some time now. So did you start off as a young boy just trying to, figure out what's happening in the world that we live in? Why are trees green? Or, what is going on? So did you actually have that passion from the start?
Yeah, Shiksha, I can say as I grew up as a young boy, I realized that in between our community, we had an issue,
Okay.
water scarcity. And the reason being is in our locals, there are no tapped water. And you can imagine, Shiksha, we had one water catchment area, which
Wow.
serves our community.
Which community is this?
That is the Sesia community
Okay.
where I come from. And it serves over 3,000 households at the same time, 2 institutions. That is 1 primary school and 1 TVET school. And in 2020, we realized that there were no water at all. And the reason being is that our people didn't have that knowledge of restoring the place. And I came back to my community and took them, did some sensitization and told them what we have to do is try to restore the same area. And we did the restoration as Green Earth Ambassadors Foundation for 4 years.
Wow.
And as we speak, the story is different. There are full water plenty in place. And
Amazing.
the communities are happy. And what drove me is I saw the stress with the young children and women, what they were passing through. And it came to my mind that as a young man, I have to do something. I have to implement. I have to take the mantle and show people how things are being done. And that's how I started doing the tree growing, and up to date, I'm still advocating for tree growing as a gentleman.
Brilliant.
And I love it. I love it.
I love that. I love the initiative, and I love the fact that you've already started working and you have a mission, which is amazing, because as a young person, I feel once you have your eyes set on the prize, as I said earlier on, there's nothing that can stop you.
Yes.
So far, how many trees have you managed to plant in your entire life?
In my entire life, I have managed over, I cannot say me alone.
Yes.
I can say together with my team of
Okay.
Green Earth Ambassadors Foundation, we've managed to plant over 2 million trees.
2 million trees.
yes.
What? How many years has that been of planting
That is,
trees to reach 2 million?
Up to date, from that's from 2019 up to date.
Wow. That's not even 10 years.
And as we speak, let me tell you, I have a great team whereby everybody is committed. Without, we always have that resilience that if without money or wit, we can do it. We can try to bring people together and concentrate our heads on matters climate action as youths. My concentration actually is on youths.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that's where I get that manpower, because you find that TVETs are youths. High schools are teenagers, whereby they graduate to youths.
Yes.
And if you bring them together, you find that they will have that mindset that this is a good thing. And it is, this world is driven by youth. And if you do your research well, that person who planted 23,060 was a youth, a Canadian youth.
Yeah.
And he did it very well.
Yeah.
And why not us?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So as a Ghanaian, we love his country, and
Yes.
also I love the agenda being driven by the president,
Yes.
President Dr. William Samoei Ruto, on matters climate change and 15 billion tree growing vision 2032. I'm trying also to share a message that vision 2032 of 15 billion is possible. And it's not only possible by saying, it's possible by actions.
Yes.
You start by yourself, plant a tree, do it,
Yeah.
and we will reach there.
It's very interesting that you've mentioned that you have used the youth to
Yeah.
come and help you in your
Sure.
mission, and you've got some great help so far.
Yeah.
So as we talk about this specific Guinness World Record that you're aiming to break, right? How exactly will you manage to achieve that 24,000 mark? Is there a plan, a game plan? Do you have any strategy? Are you going to be with a group of people? How will it work?
First of all, allow me to tell you that that plan, I didn't just wake up and say I want to do this, try this World Guinness.
Absolutely.
What came into my mind is that I have been planting trees. Not planting, growing actually. I want to see that it serves its purpose. So it came to my mind that I have to do something different, unique. So on December, I applied for World Guinness.
Wow.
I didn't want to cut shortcut, but to go directly through all requirements. And they did their analysis. They found that this guy has been doing tree growing. After 3 months, they gave me their accreditation.
Amazing.
That's approval. And they give me their guidelines. And after that, I went ahead and seek for some endorsement through the Ministry of Environment under the State Department of Forestry. It went through. And for that regard, I went back with my team, and now we've set our technical team in place whereby they will make sure everything runs as we want. Because remember, this is not an easy task.
Yes.
Growing 24,000 requires a team whereby they will make sure as a person, because this is individual attempt.
Oh, so it's just you?
This is me.
Wow.
And I'll be doing it a lot. That's 24 hours.
How many minutes does it take?
So per minute,
yeah,
I'll make sure that it should be 17. But for me, I've done some drills. I'll be doing 20.
20 trees in a minute?
Yes.
How realistic, how achievable is that? Because if you know, at the top of my mind, the first thing that I think about, it's impossible, because 20 trees in 1 minute.
Yes.
How does a human being manage that? You're not a robot, so how are you going to make that happen?
I'll manage. First of all, I'm undergoing my training, morning training, so that I make sure that my speed doesn't reduce. Because remember, it is me for the time.
Wow.
And I want also to make sure that the trees I'm going to grow, I'm not only doing the tree planting and move. I'm going to do a realistic tree planting to make sure that survival rate is 95%. So it's not an easy task ahead of me, but I'm ready for it. I'm going to make sure that I break that record. But remember, I want to make sure that I leave a point that it's not only breaking the record, but to send a message to global that it is possible. We commit ourselves towards combating climate change through actions as a youth.
Beautiful. I'm so proud of you, because it's nice to see young people like yourself take up such initiatives to raise awareness on the current situation that we have in the world with regards to deforestation, you know, climate change, global warming. It is a crisis.
Yeah.
And the fact that young people are getting involved, it just makes me so proud. Let me ask you, have you managed to get hold of Trufena? Have you been in conversations with her? And maybe she should have given you some advice on what to do, because she also currently is a record holder.
Yes. Surely I can say no, but I've been trying to get some advices through various stakeholders.
Okay.
Those are trainers, gym guys, who are specialists on matters, a pull-up of a 24 hours task.
Wow.
How can it be achieved?
Yes.
At the same time, I have my personal doctor in place as we speak through some sponsors, and they are working to guide me. What am I supposed to take during the whole 24 hours? Which meal am I supposed to take? What am I supposed to reduce? So everything is in place.
Okay.
But for Truvena also, I congratulate her. She did a good work. It's a brilliant idea, and she's the message is on that we have to do something.
Absolutely.
And Shiksha, this is so good, because as a media, for example, you are doing something on matters, sharing the message, information to reach everybody.
Yes.
And we appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Of course, that is Hilary, who has been with us. Now, Hilary, before you leave, I would like you to just give your closing remarks and any message that you have for our viewers, any message for someone watching at home with regards to what your mission is and what your agenda is with the Guinness World Record attempt.
So first of all, I want to say thank you for hosting me, Shiksha. Number two is I want to invite everybody to witness. It will be amazing. Not only me planting 24,000 tree seedlings, but also we will have a site for corporate, for community, and everyone to do a tree growing. So remember, we are targeting over 50,000 tree seedlings. So the only thing is I can share to my people is that let's continue conserving our environment, and not only planting, let's grow so that it serves its purpose. And also let's promote and support the agenda of the president, that is 15 billion tree growing vision 2032, of which it is achievable. Thank you so much.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on here, Hilary Kibiwot. Of course, as we had mentioned earlier, that he is attempting to plant 24,000 tree seedlings in 24 hours. And of course, this is a record that is currently being held by a Canadian.
Yes.
And he managed 23,000?
23,060. And not just to forget, it's happening in Elgeyo Marakwet County, Keyo North constituency, Kesup Forest.
Okay,
Come
brilliant.
and
Yes, come and witness this indeed. It is going to be history in the making, and we are rooting for you, Hilary. Of course, that was an interesting conversation. But for now, though, let's focus on what's happening in the world with regards to the climate. Now, top on climate news tonight, the media has been challenged to step up efforts in reaching grassroots communities to document and share indigenous knowledge on sustainable fishing practices. As Quinto Wafula now reports, stakeholders say tapping into this traditional wisdom could be key to promoting sustainable fishing and protecting aquatic ecosystems.
Despite concerns about the risks of overexploitation of aquatic resources along the Indian Ocean, generations have long relied on indigenous fishing methods that not only sustain livelihoods but also help preserve fish stocks. However, experts say this knowledge remains largely undocumented and risks being lost as modern and often unsustainable practice takes center stage.
But there's much more that the community have in terms of indigenous knowledge, because they have lived with the ocean. They understand it. They know the tides. They know when to go fishing.
Their effort and their resources to report about the community, to learn more about the community means some of the things that would have gone uncovered will be covered, that would have gone without any mention. Will be
At the coast, community-led conservation efforts are already demonstrating the power of traditional knowledge in safeguarding marine life. This is the Kuruiti Conservancy in Kilifi County. It covers over 30 hectares and stands as a national regional example of a successful community-led conservation. Here, the local community, supported by other stakeholders, has taken the lead in protecting coral reefs and fish breeding zones using community-driven approaches rooted in indigenous practices.
Kwa marine tunafanya kushirikiana na Kuruitu CBO. So tunawapatia opportunity, support them so that wao ndio wanafanya the actual work hapa kwa ocean.
Tunalinda mazingira lakini tunavua, but pia kuna masuala mengi ambayo yanatudai. Unajua media ndio itatufanya sisi tuweze kujua kwamba impact hizi ambazo tunazipata zinatokana na nini.
Tupate nafasi ya kuchimba zaidi. Wakati tunaenda kutana na wanasayansi, wakiongelea hivi tunawaambia, lakini wanajamii wanasema hivi. Unaona? Kwa hivyo itakuwa ni mjadala ambao utakuwa ni endelevu.
With the aim of promoting responsible use of this natural resource, relevant stakeholders including local communities will gather this May to step up conservation efforts.
This is an event that is going to bring different actors together, all for the purpose of safeguarding the ocean.
Tarehe 7 mwezi wa 5 kualika washikadau wote wanaofanya shughuli huku na wale ambao pia hawajafanya shughuli huku, tunawaalika wakuje wajionee kama BMU vile tunavyofanya kazi ndani ya maji.
So we want to put good LED screens there so that journalists can be able to have a chance to watch and see how the underwater is and be able to report whatever they'll be able to notice.
Media has been mentioned to be a key role player in ensuring that we inform you. Our objective is only achieved when you, our audience, put to action what we teach you. Quinto Wafula, TV47, Kilifi.
Great piece there by Quinto, of course, always informing us on what's happening in our waters. Right now, moving on, in Kampala, Ugandan artist and environmental advocate Regan Kandole is transforming plastic waste and scrap metal into public artworks, using his craft to promote environmental awareness and responsible waste disposal. Now, Kandole's sculptures are often displayed in public spaces to spark conversations about pollution. Through his organization, Eco Action, he purchases discarded materials to turn into artwork while also mentoring students at Kyambogo University.
I was overwhelmed by the amount of garbage on the streets, even the garbage we had in our own department. So what we did actually, which was very interesting, was to start cleaning up with the waste from the department. But by then when I was studying, what was interesting for me, I was really interested in finding materials to produce art. I got to find a community around Banda of plastic collectors. These guys would collect plastic and metal and sell it with very little amount to earn a living. So to me, that was a starting point. These guys were really connecting with my story. So I started engaging with them on how best we can add value on what they were collecting.
I used about 5 sacks of plastics to make the sculpture that is behind me, because when you look at the context of 5 sacks and all of them are bottles and they're in the community, so there's a way they tend to endanger the environment. Like we have living organisms, we have all these are part of our environment. So I had to take these things people were calling waste from the environment and had to recycle it to make it something meaningful.
All right, and with that, it's time for us to wrap up this edition of the Daily Report. My name is Shiksha Arora. Of course, this is TV47, the home of untold stories. We'll be doing this next week, same time, same place. So make sure you're always keeping in touch and, of course, interacting with what's happening on our socials, on digital media. We have the most exciting stories for you, the most exciting coverage as always. So remember, look for us at TV47 Kenya on all social media platforms. You can also find me at Shiksha Arora on all social media platforms. And once again, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish our Muslim viewers and their families Eid Mubarak. We wish you the most blessed Eid celebrations tomorrow with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones. And yes, may you feel the blessings of Ramadan. All right, I'll see you tomorrow on Tribe 47, so make sure you catch up with me then. Until then, good night, take care, and have a splendid weekend.
Following program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
Good evening and thank you for keeping it TV47. You are just in time for Body Garage with I, Sheila Chelangat, where on this episode we are focusing on respiratory illnesses in children, specifically the upper and lower tract. And with me is Dr. Arora Nzinga. How are you, Dr.?
How are you, Sheila?
I am doing good. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing well.
Could you introduce yourself to us?
So my name is Dr. Arora Nzinga. I'm a pediatrician. That's a doctor who specializes with the care of children. Children are people below the age of 21 years.
And so it's important to highlight.
Yes.
Because I can say I'm children.
You can say you're children. Many adults, adulting has been hard. Many want to identify as children.
Yes.
So yeah, 0 to 21 years, that's my cohort.
Perfect. Now we are focusing on respiratory illnesses and it affects the upper and lower tract. So where is that first in the body? What does it comprise of? And what causes this, illnesses?
Okay. So first, let's define what respiratory illnesses mean. So respiratory basically means anything that is associated with air. With breathing, because respiration means breathing. So anything from the nose, the mouth, into this part we call the larynx, feeding into the larger airway that we call the trachea.